All right, so we are going to kick off this Crockpot meal series with an easy go-to fall meal that is like a comfort food, but also pretty high in protein, full of veggies, and healthy. So the things that you're going to need are some potatoes of your choice. I am using yellow or golden potatoes, I think. You, depending on your family size, will need some stew meat. I always recommend lean meat, and this one is from Trader Joe's. They have really great quality meats. You're gonna need a little bit of flour to thicken it. I like to use this Mrs. Dash onion and herb seasoning, carrots, black pepper, tomato paste, minced garlic, beef broth, carrots, onions, mushrooms, chopped celery is already in there. And then the last thing that you're going to need is a frozen bag of peas, but you will not put that in until about an hour before you serve it. So that is everything you're going to need. I do not use recipes. I've shared this with you guys before. I have just kind of made mine up as I go, but I will find a recipe that pretty closely resembles this and put it in the description box for you. But the first step for me is to chop these potatoes, and then I'm going to sear the outside of the meat in a pan with some olive oil. That means I'm gonna just kind of brown the outsides but not cook the entire thing through. And then I'm going to put the potatoes, the meat, the carrots, the onions, the mushrooms, the celery, all in the crock pot. And then I'm going to add this entire thing of beef broth, pepper to taste, one of these tomato pastes, and then some water. And then I'll do a tablespoon of flour and season it up with this at the top. So that's how we're gonna make this beef stew. So I'm gonna sear the meat and get it in the crock pot, and then I will show you guys. I'm going to cook it on low for 6 to 8 hours, but you could cook it on high for 4 to 6 hours. But if I were to do that, I would wanna make sure that, that I cooked my meat probably a little bit better. So anyways, that's just how I do beef stew, but it is a staple food in the fall. So good, so healthy, and always creates leftovers, which is my favorite. So as you guys saw, I seared the meat. That is to just make the stew more flavorful. You do not have to do that. And then I went ahead and combined and mixed all the ingredients. The white powder you see on the top is actually cornstarch. I did two tablespoons of that. If you have cornstarch or flour, either one will work. And then I put it on low, and we're gonna let that cook. One other tip I have is to take your peas out of the freezer so they thaw, because otherwise they cook really, they will cool this stew down when you're ready to serve it. So when you thaw them, then you can just add them about 30 minutes before you're gonna eat, and you'll be good to go. So I'm gonna take those out and leave them on the counter, and now dinner will cook itself. Okay guys, for crockpot meal number 2, you're gonna need some boneless, skinless chicken breast or tenderloins. I put them in the crock pot completely frozen. You're going to need some cilantro. What you're gonna be adding into the crock pot, I just put in a good amount of chicken because I like to have leftover protein for the week, is a cup of water, a drizzle of honey. I like using the Mrs. Dash onion, and if it would focus, these are salt-free seasonings, so I like those. Black pepper, minced garlic, and then barbecue sauce you'll add at the end. So basically you're just gonna put however much of these things you like in the crock pot, turn it on low, and cook it for about 6 to 8 hours. Once it is done cooking, you'll drain the liquid in there. That's an important step. Otherwise, it'll be really soggy if you were to put the barbecue chicken on sandwiches. So you'll drain the liquid and then you'll shred it with forks in there. It's gonna fall apart really easily. And then add whatever barbecue sauce you like to put on it. Then you're gonna take that shredded chicken, you're gonna take your cilantro, and you're going to, there's sweet potatoes in here that I'll be cooking in my pressure cooker. You're going to slice open your sweet potatoes, stuff it with the barbecue chicken, a sprinkle of cheddar cheese if you like, top it with some cilantro. I like to add black beans to the inside of mine as well. And it's like a stuffed baked potato, but very, very healthy. With the sweet potato, the black beans, tons of fiber, vitamin A, protein, good healthy fats, all that good stuff. So in the pressure cooker, I'll do these on high for about 17 minutes wrapped in foil and a cup of water inside. That's how I do them. And I have linked my pressure cooker and the newest version of my Crockpot. I have had that Crockpot for 4 or 5 years and I use it all the time. It's a great Crockpot. I'll have the links to both of these down in the description box if you guys are looking for new, you know, cooking gadgets and devices. Highly recommend both of these, use them all the time. So this meal is so good, so healthy, and we call this like barbecue chicken stuffed sweet potatoes, and we really, really like it. So very easy, very fast. The chicken cooks all day, and then you just need about 15 minutes to do the potatoes. Here is the finished product. It is the sweet potato with the barbecue chicken, a few black beans, just a sprinkle of cheese, and then some cilantro. And it looks really good, super healthy. Like I said, we do a lot of that barbecue chicken and use it in sandwiches, salads, so it's just a really good thing to have on hand. Okay, so the next meal that I have to show with you guys is a fall staple in my crock pot. Winter, even summer, we really do eat chili all year round. So this is a ground turkey chili, and as you can see, I like to load it up with tons of vegetables, carrots, zucchini, bell pepper, onion, so that there's a lot of fiber and a lot of nutrition in it. So you can totally swap out colors of peppers, you can do no zucchini, you can put in whatever kind of vegetables you like. So these are the ones that I like to add to my chili. You're gonna need, I don't like to use the packet chili mix. It's very, very high in sodium, and beans are naturally already in like salt to preserve them. So even if you drain them out, you're still getting some salt from the beans. So I prefer to just do my own seasonings. So I have black pepper, I have chili powder, garlic powder, ground cumin, and a little paprika. And then for the beans, again, you can totally swap out things you like. I do a 29 ounce tomato sauce, and then I'll fill that with water. I'll use the same can. I do a thing of sliced tomatoes for some chunkier tomatoes, cannellini beans, great northern beans, 2 chili beans, and I actually need to grab the red kidney beans. So we do a ton of beans in there. So this is really high protein, really high in fiber. And then of course I cook my ground turkey ahead of time. This is 2 pounds, so I'm gonna split it in half because I'm gonna use the other half for another dinner, but I like to kind of consolidate that step. So really all you're gonna do is take your meat, put it in your crock pot. Take all your vegetables, put it in your crock pot. Empty the entire tomato sauce, empty the entire sliced tomatoes, empty in the chili beans, in the water, in the seasoning, in the crock pot. Drain these 2 beans in the crock pot. Season up the top, give it a mix, turn it on low, and you have a super delicious, healthy dinner. We will usually serve it with some kind of tortilla chip, and then I will usually give it a little topping of plain Greek yogurt instead of sour cream. This is like one of the easiest, healthiest swaps you can do. Your kids will never know the difference. And then a sprinkle of shredded cheese on top. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that all in, and I will show you guys the finished product. I cook it on low for 6 hours just because I like to smell it and cook it. But since the meat is already cooked, you could do it on high for 4 to 5 hours depending on if you have time or not. So that's what the next meal is. It's a staple, it's delicious. I've even added sweet potatoes into the chili, so good. So there's tons of different ways that you can change it up. And of course you could use beef if you don't like ground turkey. I prefer lean meat, so we like ground turkey in our house. Here is the finished product. It looks so good. And like I said, I just do like a little bit of Greek yogurt on top, some cheese, and then we have the late July tortilla chips from Costco. And dinner, super easy, cooked itself all day long, and my huge crock pot will only have a little bit left. So if you have a big family, you definitely might need to double up, but we can do 6 with leftovers off of this one crock pot, which I told you guys I did link on Amazon because I've had it for years and it's great. So here is the finished turkey chili. So for today's easy crock pot meal, I'm gonna be making a chicken tortilla soup. So you're going to need 2 things of chicken stock, a can of Rotel tomatoes, I like the lime and cilantro ones, 1 thing of white kidney beans, cannellini beans, sliced stewed tomatoes, a can of drained corn, and some green chilies. I had some extra black beans left over, so I'm gonna throw those in too. And then you need half of a yellow diced onion, some garlic powder, and some prepared seasoned chicken. I did this in the Instapot yesterday, and then I put my like Mexican seasonings on it. You're gonna need some avocados to top it with, and then some cheese and tortilla chips. But basically, you're just going to dump all of these ingredients into your crock pot, cooking it on low for about 6 hours. That's the way that I like to do it. So I'm gonna go ahead and just throw all these things in there, and dinner will cook itself. So here is the finished product of the chicken tortilla soup. I garnished mine with avocado. Not everybody in my family likes avocado, so I, just did that on mine. And then I also squeezed a little bit of this lime juice on it. And then we have our Trader Joe's fall leaf chips to just crunch up on the top. And then I'm also serving it with a salad, so everybody has a salad. When I do soups, I usually will do a salad on the side. So that is our complete dinner tonight. So easy and so good. So for the last dinner that I am going to be sharing with you guys of an easy thing to do in the crock pot, this is going to be like an Italian style vegetable soup with tortellini. So you can use frozen tortellini, or I get this one at Costco. This is just the 5 cheese tortellini, and you will not add that into the crock pot until you're basically ready to eat. So what you're gonna need is, if you wanna follow how I make it, you could of course substitute vegetables. I did 2 yellow squash, I I'm like, they came in a pack with zucchini, but it's a mixed pack that I get at Costco. So I did 2 of those. I like to leave them kind of big. That way, you know, if you have kids that don't necessarily love that vegetable, they can just eat around it. You're gonna need an entire bag of kale. So tons of great nutrition from that. You're gonna need 2 things of the chicken stock. You're going to need 2 things of Italian style stewed tomatoes, 1 can of the white beans, some diced onion, the amount that you like. I put black pepper in, oregano, basil, and garlic. And for seasonings, I always go heavy on the seasonings because these are not salt-based seasonings, so a little extra never hurt anyone. And I like flavorful food. So I'm gonna just sprinkle those in till my heart's content, basically. So you're gonna combine the squash, the kale, the tomatoes, the onions, the bean, the chicken stock, season the top, put it obviously in the crock pot. You're gonna cook it on low or on high for, you know, depending on your amount of time. Low is usually 6 to 8 hours. High is usually 4 to 6 hours. About 30 minutes, maybe, if you're using frozen tortellini, 30 minutes. You're gonna add that in to the crock pot with the lid on and stir it up so the tortellini is submerged in the broth soup mixture. My tortellini is fresh, and so I am literally only going to pour the tortellini in about 20 minutes before we eat. And it will cook in there. And then I'm going to just scoop it out and garnish it with Parmesan cheese on top. You can always add garlic bread if you wanna add another, you know, carb in, or you can do salads, whatever you wanna do. So you can also add Italian sausage if you wanted to make it more of a meat-based soup. This is a vegetarian soup, so there's no meat in it. So, but you could of course add that in. So I'm gonna go ahead and put all these ingredients in my crock pot. It's gonna make my house smell amazing. And then about 30 minutes before we're ready to have dinner, I'll just add in the tortellini and then it'll be ready to go. Here is the finished product of the tortellini and vegetable Italian soup. So I just sprinkle a little Parmesan on top, and then like I said, I made a salad, and then I'll serve the kids with garlic bread as well. So this is a super healthy, no meat, easy, delicious dinner that you can throw in the crock pot and leave it, which is the best part about crock pot meals. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you would like to see more videos like this. I realize that none of my recipes are like chef inspired, but this is how I feed my family, and I think that they would all call me a decent cook. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Be sure to let me know in the comments and by giving this video a thumbs up if you want to see more of our dinners and more food videos. I will be happy to do them if you guys liked this. I hope you got some good ideas for eating and feeding your family in the fall and winter, and I will see you guys in my next video really soon. Thanks for watching.